gotta start over. All right. I didn't go live over here. I've been talking. And gosh darn it. Forget to hit that live button when I am just rushing and behind on stuff. Sorry, TikTokers. I'm going to do this over again. Hello and welcome to Powered by Intuition. This is the show where I cover current events and I bring through a nugget of wisdom that can serve and support you wherever you are, whenever you are, witnessing, viewing, watching, listening to this anytime, any day. These are concepts and wisdom that transcend the current events of today and now that I use as a springboard to get into deeper material to serve and support you. So, welcome. The talk today is, I've already been talking on TikTok. God, I hate it when I forget to press live stream. So this talk has been around understanding what's happening now with a lot of people not feeling like there's going to be a tomorrow. People functionally being stuck, feeling like they've given up their lives, feeling like they've been sold a lie, and feeling that undercurrent of disappointment, dissuasion, and feeling duped. So I brought up a key concept of the manosphere, which has its perks. It has its pros, which is, men taking care of themselves, men kind of finding camaraderie, even though it's more of a trauma bond. I'm going to go into that a little bit, but there are aspects that are functionally great for men, but it doesn't work for everybody like that. And are the results resulting? I'm hearing a lot of men being upset and disappointed because, let's say, I'm going to use this example of women not participating in the ideas that are being perpetuated in these circles of the manosphere. And that is by design. Let me say that again. I'm seeing a lot of men angry at women because they are not participating in the way that these guys have been taught by other men in the manosphere. And when women are not participating in the way that they've been taught things are supposed to be, they get angry. It's upsetting. It's disappointing. It's frustrating. It's not working. The shit factor is, instead of turning around and going, hey, the results are not resulting, they are pushed to get angry at women and then commiserate with men in these groups rather than help to hold each other accountable of like, hey, if the results are not resulting, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe it's trying something different. And maybe you need to take accountability for what's not working and figure out, open up yourself to curiosity and figure out, why isn't this working? And instead, there is a push to blame, shame, manipulate, harm, get angry, get frustrated, externalize blame rather than being like, what can I do better? How do I mature? How do I work to cultivate myself to attract the person that I want? And here's the thing. The action of blaming women rather than up-leveling the self or blaming someone else rather than working to improve yourself, it is functionally grooming to be a lifelong customer. Because if it's not working with who, like, let's take that example, these men in the manosphere are not finding women who want to date them or who want to deal with abusive dynamics, instead of fixing what's not working, they blame women. And then where do they turn to? Where do they turn to? There's AI, there's the bow chick bow bow, there's the other men in the group. So if it's not helping you to obtain your goals or fulfill the results that it promises, you've been sold a lie. It's like the American dream has become a lie. Go to school, work hard, get married, have kids, or get married, get a house, have kids, and retire. That is functionally dead for a majority of people in this day and age. And I think a lot of people are getting that realization, that sinking feeling, that and that realization that we're not going back to those times. Those times are not happening. This is not something that is working anymore in this culture. And because of that, people are feeling lost. The wind has removed from their sails and they're dead in the water. And that's because there is a lack of a feeling of fulfillment, of doing something that truly fulfills you. Give me 1 minute. There we go. So, with that, let's go into what fulfillment actually is. Fulfillment isn't the idea of harming someone. Take, for example, the current Epstein files being released, and there are these very successful, wealthy people that are doing very heinous, evil, vile things. They're not fulfilled individuals. You might see what they're doing as a measure of success. Why isn't success enough? I'm going to ask that again. You see these people in these files that are doing vicious, vile things to feel power, to feel surge of adrenaline, to feel whatever it is that they're getting from this. And these are successful people, but their success is not enough that they need to chase after these things. Why is that? Functionally, those behaviors that are adverse, that are harmful to others, that are seeking some sort of feeling from others, that is an addiction. That is functionally an addiction. And addictions do not fulfill you. If they did fulfill you, you wouldn't need to keep doing them over and over and over and over again and harming others in the process, destroying your life in the process, doing evil, vile, despicable things in the process that you wouldn't want to have done to yourself. Some of them have had that done to themselves and think that that behavior is okay. And it's not. Let's take this example of a person with narcissistic tendencies. There's that term that's come about from the people that they go to kind of just drain them dry. And it's called their supply. To get that feeling of importance, to get that feeling of acknowledgement, recognition, so on and so forth. You give a person with narcissistic tendencies an inch and they will take everything, because there is no end to their voraciousness. There is no end to their hunger because they are never satisfied. They do not feel fulfillment because they are not doing things that actually functionally fulfill them. And so when we're constantly sold these lies of how a person should be, let's take example, the manosphere, how a man should be, might not actually be who you want to be or authentically a part of you. You're restricted, you're stunted, you're forced into this, and this isn't for everybody. Some people, that is for them. I'm not going to fault that. But for a majority of people, it's likely not. It's not authentic to who they want to be. Seeing a lot of men want to be dotted on and treated like children. That's not really something that's fulfilling. That's seeking validation from others. That's constantly seeking from others. Being fulfilled is truly being whole. You supply for yourself what you need, and there is contentment in that. There is stability in that. No matter what circumstance you are dealing with, as long as you know how to be fulfilled, you can get through it. You know your sense of purpose and value. That's part of fulfillment. And so the manosphere is kind of sold a lie to a lot of men that has them attacking women rather than turning around and going, these results are not resulting. Something that I've experienced myself is going through different MLMs and, just being like, this is not working. This is not working for me. This is not working for me. I recently, the end of last year, got tagged by someone else who was like, yeah, you should join this. I'm like, no, this is not something that fulfills me. I finally was able to get into that and be like, MLMs do not fulfill me. I do not find that sort of gig work, sales stuff fulfilling to me. And I had to come to terms with that because I kept trying to, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Oh, hey, I'm hanging out with, these top amazing people, and it's just like not working. And, an example of that is like I'm hanging out with someone who is one of the top people, made her living doing Mary Kay, like made a very successful, sustainable living doing Mary Kay. And, coming to the realization that like MLMs are just not for me. I've been through many different products that I love and enjoy and appreciate. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell these products. That is not fulfilling to me. I have my own products I want to sell. I have my own things that I'm doing. I do not want to be salesperson for this product, even though I love the products. So I really had to come to terms with that because in my youth, in my childhood, I made the pact with myself that I was not going to do things that didn't fulfill me. Now, why I did that is because I was in a multi-generational household. I grew up with a grandmother who was just exuding misery and would watch TV 16 hours a day. Yes, I literally timed it. 16 hours a day, every day. And just, there was a cloud of misery around her. And I didn't want to live life like that. I didn't want to live life in misery. I didn't want to live life in what could have been. And instead, I grew insatiable curiosity around it. All right, like, why is this happening? I'm going to make this deal with myself to not do this. I'm going to make this deal with myself to remember what it was like to be, a kid. I'm going to make this deal with myself to be a better person as I grew up, which is interesting to have those insights as a young person. And so it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter, where you're at. That sense of fulfillment transcends everything. And that comes from a sense of being whole. That comes from a sense of knowing who you are. It doesn't matter if there's a tomorrow or not. I know that I am a person who's honored my conscience. I can sleep well at night because I'm doing what fulfills me, and we're doing my best to support others in the process. Fulfillment is sharing this wisdom and knowledge. Fulfillment is exploring and understanding that I am a person that naturally explores, that I'm not going to be corralled into the do one thing, be a specialist. I want to do all the things that I want to do, and I've done it. And I have stared back at those people who are like, you just need to do one thing. And I'm like, no, my thing is doing multiple things. That is my one thing. But I had to learn that, and I had to stand up for who I am authentically. And lo and behold, these times that we are in are really going to serve and support those who are multi-talented, multi-able, who are able to do many different things, because Lord knows I've gone from one thing to another, and I have not necessarily skipped a beat. I did a little bit as I had to recover from someone who didn't pay me. But once again, I didn't hold on to that because there is still a sense of fulfillment. I didn't do anything outside of what I would not choose to do. And yeah, I had to do a mad dash and scramble. Was it frustrating? A bit. Did it pull me down? Did I linger on it? No. So there's a lot of people that are feeling lost in this day and age because stability, what we were promised when we were younger, all these ideas of what we were supposed to do as kids was a lie. It was a lie. And the more that we recover from that, the more that we embrace who we actually are, the more that we come complete and authentic in that, the more that we heal from our wounds, from the trauma that's being spewed at us daily, incessantly, nonstop, the more that we will find our place in the world and can step up and really lead with passion and a purpose. So how do you discover that? Well, I have a resilience journal that touches on that a little bit. We go through some of the exercises, and it starts with gratitude. What are things that you can be thankful for even in the darkest of times? Even in the darkest of times. I can tell you for certain, in the dark times that I experienced, I was thankful for just breathing. I was thankful for just breathing. And I went through some extreme shit. You know, I've been homeless hotel style, not street style, but that was about a month. It wasn't a very long time, but I'm not going to discredit that. I'm not going to discount that. That was a challenging time. Going through divorce, that was extremely challenging. Dealing with a person with narcissistic tendencies, finding my strength through that, finding myself through that, reclaiming my energy. I was thankful for just being able to breathe. So if you have nothing else, start with gratitude. Start with that. And with that, and this is the very first section of the Resilience Journal. If you're on YouTube, you'll see it linked below. But when you're doing a gratitude, don't just stop with, I'm thankful for breathing. I'm thankful for money. I'm thankful for food. You need to complete that. You need to complete that thought. You need to really seed that in. I am thankful for breathing because I know that this too shall pass. Thankful for breathing because I know that if I'm alive now, it means I still have a chance to fix things, to make things better. You have to do the because. I'm thankful for this because, and get really clear, get really distinct on that. Okay. Another thing is, I want you to look at things that are happening today. I want you to write down 3 things, 3 major problems that you see in the world. And I want you to see it from the perspective of things that you might have the solution for that are actionable, not, oh, well, they need to do this. If they did this, then blah, 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 blah. And you don't know what actually can be done with it. So, for example, Ray, who usually hops on with TikTok, because PBS is not getting funding, he's working to combine forces on some major key players and making some magic happen to provide funding for PBS because it's been so impactful and influential on his life. And he wants to step up and fill that deficit. So when you go through this and bring up things that you see are problems in the world, I want you to do the solution to it that is actionable by you, not you telling someone else to do something. Actionable by you. What can you contribute to fix that problem? What can you do to fix that problem? And through that, you've discovered your purpose. Now, if you're feeling really stuck with that, I do sessions on this. It's 3-hour session, about $500, because it is a lot of back work for me. I do some artwork and some things that you can have as reminders, as, coaching devices to get you into really stepping into and capitalizing on your purpose and really taking it seriously. And then the second part of that is highlighting your values so that you can stay on track, so that you can measure and run things against that values system, so that you can work forward from there, knowing, okay, I'm not working with the right people. I need to change track on this. And, I recently had to step away from a situation where I was just not in alignment with people. And for me, being a theater kid and an entertainment industry individual, there was just some really disrespectful. Respect is one of my top values, as well as excellence. That's another one. So with these things, there was not a penchant for both of those. And that was very unpleasant for me to see certain behaviors where it's like, this was explained, this was discussed, and they just could not respect that. And so I had to step back, step away, and be like, I'm not dealing with that. That's too stressful for me, and that's not in alignment with my values. And I still love, respect, and appreciate those people, but I cannot work with those things because that's a conflict of my values. That's going to create problems, right? This comes back to looking at results. As I mentioned, are the results resulting? And you really need to take inventory of that and take responsibility of like, okay, this is not providing results. And this is something that I discovered through the coaching industry where, I've done multiple different coaching sessions and things. And a lot of the coaches had a lot of money to begin with to be able to pursue these interests, hire their marketing team, and excel through that. And me coming from a space of not really having those resources, although some of the things really worked and supported me in different ways. So, one of the people, actually the first coach that I paid a lump sum to, or a decent amount to, like really provided the results that I needed through that time. Although, some of the other results that they purported did not come through, but I did have the needs that I was going for met, and that was fulfilled. But then, from there, going to other coaches and, as I mentioned before, are the results resulting? Are these things really for me, or do I need to kind of split off and be like, yeah, this isn't supporting me in the way that I really need right now? Or there was another dynamic where it's kind of like, pay me money, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, great, you're done. And if it didn't work for you, oh, that's your fault because you didn't follow everything, you didn't follow everything. as I laid out. It's like sometimes that can be a thing, and other times it's like, well, maybe this doesn't work for everybody because not everybody has the resources that you've had or curated that group or have the privileges that you have, because people have different privileges in different ways. And when you look at it, are the results resulting? And so that's how I had to split off and be like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't for me. This isn't for everybody. How many people is this working for? Wow, it was like maybe 10, 20%. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to keep paying for this. This is not for me. I could spot certain things right away where I was like, yeah, I don't need to waste my time with this, but you guys are really pushing this, and that's not necessary. That was a waste of my time and made me very frustrated. So it's like, because it wasn't for me. And to acknowledge that is not to blame them, but it's to be like, yes, and this is not what's working for me. And that's not anything I'm going to hold against them. I know there's, as I said, there's people that it's worked for, that these coaching programs have worked for, but it's not going to work for everybody. And when you can acknowledge that in peace, when you can acknowledge, okay, what did I actually gain from this? Is it what I wanted to gain? Are the results resulting? No. Okay, well, I move on. I worked for a company that ultimately left me out to dry, a couple grand. And even though I'm sharing that, it's like, it's that circumstance is not me. That failure is not me. That failure is learning. So circumstance is not who you are. Circumstance is what you learn from to improve yourself. And if you are a being that is fulfilled, that can give yourself a sense of satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment, and work through the world no matter what circumstance you're dealing with, knowing that you are going to sleep at night with your conscience intact, you've already won. You've already won. If you can go to sleep at night knowing that you've gone through the world and that you have a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, no matter how exhausted you may be, for goodness sakes, like my days are long and they are tedious and can be exhausting, but I don't regret it. I appreciate what I'm doing. I value what I'm doing. I'm not going to be upset about that because I am fulfilled. I'm relying on, and I would have never expected this, but I'm relying on stuff that, in high school I was prepping for, basically. And these answers came through in the way that I feel fulfilled, that I value, that I honor, that are in alignment with my values. I wouldn't take a job that doesn't honor or value me. I've done that. I've tried it as I explored to be able to understand what fulfills me. And that exploration process, surprise, surprise, is part of that fulfillment paradigm. I love learning, exploring, and growing. So that fulfilled me to a point to where now I know myself really well, to where I can go to someone and be like, okay, what LLM are you with? Yeah, well, that's awesome. Let me get you connected with these people, but that's not for me. I do not like doing MLMs, but that's great that you're doing this, and I wish you the best. Let's get you connected with some people that can really serve and support you. Fulfillment, right? I can say no. I can turn that down with a smile and not feel like, oh, you just wasted my time. No, let's serve and support. because I know that there are people that need that see the value in that. And if you're not sitting there going, yeah, I feel good about myself. If you're sitting there feeling angry, upset, traumatized, you're missing out on the reality of living life. You're missing out on bringing meaning and purpose into the most chaotic of times. Because it'll serve and support you. It'll get you through. As long as you can end the day going, you know what? I've done good today. I've done what I've wanted to do. And there is nothing that I would want to change in the past, because everything has brought me to this point of learning about who I am, what my capabilities are, and who I'm meant to be. And I feel fulfilled each day. Might be a little tired, but that feeling of fulfillment, of the ability that no matter if there's a solar flare tomorrow, I'll still get through it. I'll still get through it. If technology goes away today, I will still figure things out, because I didn't fall for the lies so that I'm not set up for disappointment down the line. So that I don't have to blame people for something that's not working. I can sit here in responsibility of going, well, I messed up. I saw the signs. But you know what? At the end of the day, I still know that I contributed to something great. Even if it didn't contribute back to me in the way that was promised, it still contributed that sense of fulfillment. And once again, fulfillment isn't something that you need from someone else. Fulfillment is being whole. It is not abusing or using people. It is not the narcissistic tendency of trying to always feel power or feel above someone else. It's just being true to you and knowing that you are valuable. And it's not like you have to prove it. You don't have to say it. You just are. And it's not arrogance. It's free from all those things. It's free from the nagging of not feeling enough. It's free from the nagging of past things. It's free from the nagging of society, and it's free from the nagging of circumstances. It's free from the nagging of those who want to push you into who you should be so that they can sell you their products and make you a lifelong customer. It's true freedom. And I hope that those who come across this and who listen to this, that this freedom, this sense of fulfillment of what it really is, will meet you where you are at. And if you need help, as always, feel free to reach out, leave a comment, like, follow, subscribe, and let me know what you got from this segment. I would love to hear from you. You can always find me at obscurum.com. That is obscuram.com, or right here on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this at. Thank you so much for tuning in, for serving and supporting yourself. And please do let me know what you got from this and how I can support you further. So I wish you all the best. Have a good night and be well.